Bunratty Castle. We're going past areas where there would have been moats around the castle to protect the occupants. The doors look very heavy and formidable. And it looks like they're ready for tournaments on the outside of the castle. They have tables set up. Here's some of the cannon they had. Look how thick the doors are. Let's go see what's going on. Looks like they got a fire out here in the evening. And probably do. Let's see how the castle looks. Let's go on this level and see what we see. They closed the castle early because they have a dinner here. This tells the story of the restoration of the castle. And this is a long dining table where people could eat. Let's go up to the next floor. See if we can still get in. Are you still letting people in, or is it too late? What's for dinner tonight? Have you decided yet? Same stuff? Mead wine and
lots of mead, yes.
Mead wine. Well, that makes it good.
And there's a tour here if you'd like to join in.
I will. I'll listen. Thank you.
So if you would please follow me.
This is the banquet hall. They have every night. They fill this up with tourists, so we drink mead wine, eat some animal flesh, and some vegetables here in Bunratty Castle. I think they're entertained by some people they hire who are sort of actors. Look at the candles. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
That's from 1630.
I'm sure in the evening they have the fireplace going as well on colder nights. And when I got up this morning here in Harlem, it was 42 degrees. So I'd call that a colder night.
No, never sabi kita may dami siya. No need guys. Hawak ko kayo naman kayo dalawa. Beautiful. Thanks so much.
No problem.
Oh, do you want to?
No problem.
Oh, okay, I'll take picture.
Now we're going up to another floor of a circular stairway. Many people are probably struggling doing this. Most people don't go to circular stairways like this anymore on a regular basis. So they get sort of out of shape to do it. There are several floors here in this castle.
Maybe can I hand for you?
Notice how small the windows are. That's because they didn't have glass to really use to like cloth as windows. They greased cloth to let light in.
Everyone. Now then, welcome to the Grand Hall and the original banquet hall. So, this is where the banquets used to be held by the Earl, and where we used to hold them. Now, we don't hold them up here anymore because we serve such a high amount of alcohol. And as you can tell from the stairs you just went up, well, we can't risk it with the alcohol because our guests like to get drunk. One of the alcoholic beverages that we serve is our signature Bunratty mead, which has a percentage of 14.7% alcohol. It's made from white wine and honey, which, if you would like to try it, we do sell bottles of them, of this mead at the boutique, at the gift shop. But when the Earl was still living here, he would sit in the chair of the state to hold court or to enjoy his banquets. The size of the chair wasn't only for showing his importance and showing who was boss. It was also to protect him. So it would stop anyone from stabbing him in the back, and until the late 1500s, when the windows were added, from receiving an arrow in the back of the head. However, if you look at the chair next to him, it's slightly smaller, slightly less protected, and I'm pretty sure he has a bigger pillow to sit on. And that was the seat of someone that's considered less important than the Earl or the King. I can assure you it wasn't the lady or the Queen's chair. There are two reasons why it couldn't have been her chair. Number one, it just wasn't. Number two, I'll get to that in a minute. But this was the seat of the Earl's consultant, his right-hand man. And he was unfortunately considered to be a very replaceable fellow. Poor dude. If you look up in the window, or above the window, sorry, you will see 3 pairs of antlers. And these are the antlers of the great Irish elk, which is unfortunately extinct nowadays. However, it was said to measure up to 9 to 12 feet tall when it was still alive, without its antlers included. And they were much bigger than the Canadian moose. However, they were much nicer and less temperamental. They had the same temperament as a deer. Now, as I said, unfortunately they're extinct. They're prehistoric animals, and they went extinct shortly after the Ice Age. So these antlers are the oldest artifacts we have in this castle. With everything being about 400 to 600 years old, these antlers are 15,000 years old, and they were preserved in the bogs around Ireland. So, to put it in perspective of how perfectly preserved they were in these bogs, we also found the body of a noble from about 400 years ago, and his skin and eyes, the first organs to decompose, were still completely intact, so were his clothes, and his last meal had not been digested yet. Now, his last meal isn't very interesting, mostly just bread, meat, and some alcohol, but it's very intriguing, fascinating, that he didn't get the chance to digest his food. However, I think he's had time now because he's currently in a museum in Dublin. Now, the second reason why the lady or the Queen wouldn't have been sitting at this table was unfortunately because women were strictly prohibited from being in this room. Women had their own little room up there in the window, next to the tapestry. That was the ladies' room. And this is where they would spend most of their days, mostly practicing their hobbies like embroidery, macrame, or knitting, as we all know that women weren't allowed to read or write. And it's also where they took care of the children, as well, we can't have children running around screaming during the banquets or when court was being held. And I feel like they had it much better up in the ladies' room because I'm sure you've noticed how much cooler this room is compared to downstairs, even though we have 4 radiators, one in the kitchen as well. They only had a fire and no windows. So they had even more trouble keeping this room warm. is aware of the spy hole. Goodness, what's the word? Unless you're part of the family. There. So if you were living here, you were definitely aware of the spy hole. However, if you were just a simple guest coming in to enjoy the banquets, you didn't notice. So if one day someone mentioned the secret that you said in classes at the banquet, you would think the world had ears. Now, to conclude this tour, I'll give you some tiny rules, huge rules, that we have here in this room. And then you can have fun and enjoy exploring the rest of the castle and the village as well. So, these stairs, the ones you came up from, are your entrance and not your exit. If I catch anyone going down the stairs, it's to the dungeon. That's a promise and not a threat. Got it? Your exit is over here. So when you're facing the window, it's to your right. The doorway that most of you are seeing is a tower that you can go up. It's about 40 to 50 steps up, and it's the guest tower. And there's also the South Solar up there, and it's my personal favorite, so I do recommend you go see it. It's a two-way system, so you go up and down the same tower. Unfortunately, so please be careful of anyone going up or down. Same story here, two-way system. That's the priest's tower. It has 50 to 60 steps, and it goes all the way up to the roof. So you can go outside and see every nice view. These two towers are linked. So you'll be going up these ones and going down those ones. It's about 20 steps up and 20 steps down. And it's the Earl's personal quarters. So it's his personal apartment. And the ladies' room is up. And this tower also goes all the way up to the roof. However, to get to it, you have to go up this one. And it's an additional 20 to 40 steps up. Now, hopefully, the weather will settle down nice for the rest of the day. And you have about an hour to explore the rest of the castle. So, I hope you enjoyed this tour, and you have a nice day, and I do hope you also